Hello everybody, this is Sportman16 here, and for this video, there has been something that I decided that I want to sort of vent and rant about, because it has been bothering me for the absolute longest time, and I really need to get this off my chest. It's basically something revolving around Pokemon. And it's basically a certain Pokemon that just annoys the living hell out of me. Who is that Pokemon, you might ask? Why, it's none other than Magikarp. Yeah. What do I think about Magikarp? I straight up hate him. You heard me right. I hate Magikarp. I never liked him since the very beginning, and I never will like him for good reasons. So, yeah. First, pretty much saying that, for one, Magikarp to me is just nothing more than a big, utterly bad, putrid taste in my mouth. How bad? It would almost be like I have this freaking this bottle of liquid cold medicine that I would take if I had a cold. I mean, it helps me with my cold, but it just tastes absolutely disgusting. That's the best way I can describe the putrid taste in my mouth for Magikarp. It's pretty much like taking the liquid cold medicine that I would take when I have a cold. So yeah, great start there. Next, let's take a look at his stats, shall we? I will probably also put up a picture of you guys to actually look at his stats. Let's just say Magikarp's stats are pathetic. He has a base stat total of 200, and that's what pretty much it. His base stats are HP at 20, defense at 55, special attack at 15, special defense at 20. He may have mediocre speed at 80, but his physical attack is only at a base of 10. So yeah, basically he's pathetic. He is absolutely weak. And the only moves that he would learn are Tackle and Flail. Yeah, it's pathetic. But the one thing that I see about Magikarp that makes me completely and utterly laugh is its X and Y, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire Dex entries. Because even Game Freak themselves are saying that Magikarp is just pathetic and useless. And I'll read all four of them. Magikarp's Dex entry from X states, and keep this in mind, I'm reading this directly off of Cerebi.net. X Dex entry states, it is virtually worthless in terms of both power and speed. It is the most weak and pathetic Pokemon in the world. Its Dex entry from Y states, in the distant past, it was somewhat stronger than the horribly weak descendants that exist today. So you're saying that Magikarp was somewhat stronger back in the past? Yeah, we're talking about today, thank you very much. Alpha Sapphire's Dex entry states, Magikarp is virtually worthless or useless in battle. It can only splash around. As a result, it is considered to be weak. However, it is actually a very hardy Pokemon that can survive in any body of water, no matter how polluted it is. So, Magikarp can live in any condition of water. That doesn't save him from the fact that he's weak and pathetic. But this one is my favorite. the dex entry from Omega Ruby. It states, and the first line, no truer words could ever be said from what Omega Ruby's dex entry states. Its first line states, Magikarp is a pathetic excuse of a Pokemon that is only capable of flopping and splashing. This behavior prompts scientists to undertake research into it. For real, scientists are thinking about undertaking a research into Magikarp's behavior of splashing and flopping. Complete utter facepalm, because that right there is just stupid. It is just downright stupid. Because I really felt like if I was one of those scientists going into the research of Magikarp's behavior, all I would do was just be wasting my time and wasting my life on studying on the behavior of the most pathetic, weak, useless Pokemon ever. Though, yet, some of the fan base around this fish, they're like saying like, why would you make fun of Magikarp? Magikarp is a beast. He's a freaking beast. He is epic. He will sweep your entire team. He'll utterly destroy your level 100 Ubers. And Magikarp is freaking God. Oh my god. Quit making me laugh. Please. Magikarp would never even begin dreaming to becoming a god. Because you want to know something? Magikarp is not God. This is God of Pokemon. This is God of Pokemon. You have to understand that. Arceus is God, not Magikarp. Arceus. And a lot of people are making like stupid stuff saying like, oh, Magikarp's splash attack will actually do damage. And there was one picture that I remember seeing on Google Images where it showed Magikarp versus Yamcha. Magikarp used Splash. Yamcha died. Or fainted or whatever. And I was like, oh brother, these people are just taking it way too far on these stupid Magikarp memes. I swear, if you go look up Magikarp, you'll be bound to find something like that. That's all I have to say. Magikarp is stupid. He's ridiculously stupid. He is weak. He is pathetic. He is useless. His splash attack won't be doing jack shit. And no amount of convincing, and I literally do mean no amount of convincing on this entire goddamn Pokemon world is going to convince me to change my mind about Magikarp. Nothing. And also, since I mentioned Arceus, there is something else that I do want to vent about. Why are you people hating on this Pokemon? Why do you hate him? Because some people state, oh, Arceus is overpowered. No, he's not. This thing is not overpowered. He's versatile. Why? Because when you look at his stats, minus the Mega Mewtwo's and Mega Rayquaza, he has the highest base stat total of all Pokemon. But his stats are completely balanced out. All of them at a base 150. They did that because if you wanted to train Arceus in any way you want, like, because I mean seriously, they're all at a base 150, so you could literally train Arceus to do any role that you want him to do. If you want him to be like some kind of physical attacker, you can train him to be a physical attacker. If you want him to be a tank, you can train him to be a tank. If you want him to be a wall, you can train him to be a wall. If you want him to be like some kind of speedy physical sweeper, you can train him to do that. But he is not overpowered. It's ridiculous. Because sometimes to me, people complain about Arceus overpowered is just as ridiculous as like saying Stealth Rock being utterly broken. Whatever. Because when I was watching this video of this like legendary Pokemon bracket tournament or whatever, and they were and when I was seeing comments about the Arceus candidate campaign video or whatever, there were some comments that I was seeing from for this guy that I was pissed. Like some people were saying like, oh don't worry, Arceus is losing already. Or like, oh don't worry, Arceus already lost. It's like, literally guys, I wish you could quit hating on this guy. Because Mewtwo fans hate him, Deoxys fans hate him, and Mew fans hate him. Seriously, guys. Can we all just have a little bit more support for our Pokemon God here? And also the fact of some people throwing it as a joke, saying, or it's like a joking insult, saying like oh, Arceus is just nothing more than a llama with go power, or a llama with God powers. Oh really? You're saying that Arceus looks like a llama? I really don't see the resemblance. I mean, if he does, I don't care. Because, to me, Arceus is fucking cool. I even have his movie on DVD. Yeah, I literally have Arceus in the Jewel of Life on DVD. Why? Because I am going to support this Pokemon in any way, shape, or form I can. And like with Magikarp, no amount of convincing on this entire freaking Pokemon world is going to change my mind on what people say about Arceus. Anything negative about Arceus. Because I love this god, and I always will. No matter what. So yeah, you heard me right, Arceus. I'll be with you all the way. No matter what your haters say. So yeah. And also another Pokemon I would like to vent about. Oh boy, oh boy. What is this Pokemon, you might ask? Woo! It's everybody's favorite starter, Charizard. Oh my god, Charizard, you are so freaking overrated, and I just don't like you. I just don't. Because why? People say like, oh, Charizard is like the ultimate fire type Pokemon. He'll wreck everything. Yeah, right. Charizard is not Mr. Ultimate Fire type. Because there are quite a few other fire types out there that are much stronger than him. And the thing of it is, let's go back to like the third Pokemon movie, or basically the Pokemon movie where Entei was in. But not the Zoroark movie, the first time. Yeah, pretty much Entei showed who Mr. Ultimate Fire really was. No, wait a minute, scratch that. Basically, Entei showed that Charizard is not Mr. Ultimate Fire type Pokemon. And when I was seeing, or when I watched the death battle of the Pokemon Battle Royale between the Kanto starters, I literally had my fingers crossed, hoping for Charizard to lose. Yeah, you heard me right. I wanted Charizard to lose, and I was putting all my hope on Blastoise. And man, I felt really damn proud when Blastoise beat Charizard's ass. Because, yeah, it just pretty much says, yeah, Charizard, you are not Mr. Ultimate Fire type or Mr. Ultimate Pokemon by any means. Like, you may be fast and have the warrior metabolism, but Blastoise says, yeah, I got the defenses to outlast you. So, yeah, Charizard, F you. And there was one thing about Charizard, along with Mewtwo, that pissed me off. When the introduction of Mega Evolutions came around, we pretty much saw that both Mewtwo and Charizard are the only two Pokemon to get 2 Mega Evolutions. Yeah, 2. When I heard about that, I was like, what the actual fuck, Game Freak? You decided to give, like, the 2 of the most overrated Pokemon of all time 2 Megas. That, to me, right there, was, like, the ultimate calling to fan service. Especially to Gen 1ers. And probably ever since that day, those freaking stupid ass Gen 1ers had more freaking ammo to shove down us non-Gen 1ers throats. Yeah, I don't like you Gen 1ers. The things that you say are just stupid. But that's a video for another day. Because, I mean, for one, it was just completely unfair that none of the other Pokemon, like, you should have at least given Blastoise and Venusaur 2 Megas. But no, they just decided to give it to Charizard and Mewtwo. And just like, yeah, fuck the other Pokemon that have Megas, we're just gonna give them 1. Brother. It doesn't, like, even still today, it still pisses me off. Oh, and there was one other thing that pissed me off that still revolves around Charizard. Was, it was in the Pokemon anime where it was between Gary's Blastoise and Ash's Charizard. It was a nice, good, well hard-fought battle. But in the end, Charizard won over Gary's Blastoise. I had never been more pissed off to Charizard than any other time that I can think of. Because for one, Ash's Charizard used the oh-so-epic Seismic Toss. Now, I'm still currently looking at Charizard right here. Like, in terms of X and Y, Charizard could not be able to learn Seismic Toss. That's the one thing about Ash's Charizard that I just didn't like. Is that his Charizard knew something that he could never be able to learn. Well, in terms of today's status. That he could not be able to learn Seismic Toss whatsoever. And even still to this day, it still pissed me off that Ash's Charizard won over Gary's Blastoise. And speaking of which, if I go look at Blastoise right now, like, could it be, like, how would he actually be able to handle up to fighting type moves? Because Seismic Toss is a fighting type move. Because in my opinion, I would say that Blastoise would have had enough defenses to be able to survive a Seismic Toss. Yeah, he only takes normal damage from fighting. Because, I mean, if Blastoise had enough defenses, he can be able to withstand a Seismic Toss. But again, Gary's Blastoise should have easily won over Ash's Charizard. All I can say is that was just bullshit. Although I probably will say this, whether it's true or not, because I think that it was Ash's Charizard is what made Charizard overrated to begin with. Because knowing of how much he triumphed over pretty much almost every fight that he won over. I mean, I felt happy that, what was his name? Harris's Blaziken took down Charizard. Yeah, so pretty much now, anytime that I see a Charizard lose, I will be proud of that Pokemon who annihilated him for the patheticness that he is. Yeah. And basically one other thing of why I say Charizard is not Mr. Ultimate Fire type. Yeah, 2 words. Stealth Rock. Because yeah, if you send out a Charizard and Stealth Rock is set up, Charizard will lose half his health. And I've seen it. So, yeah. So, that's all I can say. Charizard's overrated. And he's most likely going to stay overrated. And, I just don't like him. Never have liked him. And never will like him. If you want me to hear me say something good about Charizard, I will honestly admit this. His shiny colors are amazing. Knowing that he's one of those Pokemon that can support Black well, but it's not going to be enough to redeem him of being a cool Pokemon in my opinion. Or considering for the fact that I tend to use him in Smash Bros. Whether it be in Vanilla Brawl, Brawl Minus, Project M, or even on Smash Bros. 4. I'm just never gonna like him. And I don't really think there is anything else that I want to sort of vent/rant about, because I mean I could rant on for a good long time about Gen 1ers and how much I just want to punch their freaking lights out for the things that they say. But like I said, that's just a rant for another day. So I know there's going to be a lot of people out there who are going to disagree, give me all this negative comment crap and give me like some dislikes and everything, but am I really going to care? No, I'm not. So for anybody who wants to give me any negative criticism and try to convince me otherwise, go ahead and try, because I'm not going to care. I'm not going to give a damn. I'm not going to give a fuck. I'm not going to give a rat's ass about it, because none of your convincing is going to change my mind about Magikarp being like the god of all Pokemon. No amount of convincing is going to change my mind about Arceus being quote-unquote overpowered, because that belongs to a certain Mega Dragon. Yeah, I'm kind of talking to you, Mega Rayquaza, because I will admit that Mega Rayquaza is overpowered because of how the way he was made. That's all I can say. The way how Mega Rayquaza was set up, or is set up, is he is literally overpowered. Knowing that by Smogon he's been pretty much put into a tier of his own, being in what's known as anything goes tier. But to me, really, in my opinion, I just don't really care what Smogon has a way of tiers and everything. But yeah, again, no amount of convincing is going to change my mind about Magikarp being the best and being all godly like. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to change my mind of wanting to hate Arceus just because of how he is, and nobody else is going to change my mind of pretty much convincing me that Charizard is like the ultimate fire type and he'll utterly wreck every freaking thing in sight. It's just not going to happen, because I will stick by everything that could utterly destroy these guys. But for anybody who does agree and likes what I said, you can hit that like button down below. And if you guys want to see any more of my videos, feel free to subscribe. And like I said, you can feel free to give me comments, whether good or bad. Because, like I said, in terms of the negative comments, I'm just not going to care about what you say. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys on whatever video I decide to make next.